Welcome, Molly MacRae, to the Magic of Cozy's podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. All right, let's get right into it. Can you tell us about your journey into writing cozy mysteries in general, but then also centered around the series that you have with ghosts and hauntings?
Okay, I actually have two series with ghosts. It's not something I expected to be doing, but a Penguin editor asked if I could write a light paranormal, maybe something with a ghost, she said, and I thought, well, the right answer is, of course, well, yes, I can. So at that point, Geneva the Ghost in my Haunted Yarn Shop series jumped into my head, and it went from there. And it turns out that ghosts are great characters, and they are characters like any other. They are people. They just happen to be dead.
So true. And what inspired you to blend? You talked about how the publisher asked you to write it, but in deciding what kind of supernatural themes you would have, what was your inspiration behind that?
Well, I liked the idea of a ghost. Geneva, the ghost in the Haunted Yarn Shop series, is a depressed ghost. She's been dead so long, she doesn't remember her name even. I don't like scary ghosts, but the idea of this person who doesn't remember who she is, having a journey of finding out who she is through the main character, the interactions with that, it adds an interesting spark to a series of books when the main character in that series doesn't believe in ghosts. She's a textile preservation specialist. She's into fumigation hoods and chemistry and stuff. And then she's faced with this depressed, crying ghost at the table in the kitchen. And it's like blows her mind. But she'd also just received a letter from her late grandmother that blew her mind. Her grandmother said to her, you might be a little bit of a witch. It's like, okay, that just, so it just adds a fun element.
Yeah, and I thought. Yeah. I think giving sort of, I mean, obviously ghosts were human at some point, but keeping those human characteristics into their afterlife, I think just makes them even maybe more believable of a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just adds to the story.
Yeah, they have to be well developed, just like any other character. Would you like to hear why she's named Geneva Bowman in the Haunted Yarn Shop? Because when we moved into a house in Johnson City, Tennessee, we bought it from the people who had bought it from the estate of a woman named Geneva Bowman. And we never knew the Geneva Bowman. We kept receiving mail for her while we lived there. And I would write on it, deceased, and put it back in the mail so that maybe it was mostly junk mail, but it wasn't all, well, it was mostly junk mail. So we lived there for about 10 years. And when we moved to Illinois, I changed all our addresses with the post office so that our mail would be forwarded, but I didn't have Geneva's mail forwarded because she was dead. But it followed us anyway to Illinois. And we kept receiving her mail. And then we were in an apartment to begin with, and we moved into a house. And once again, I changed all our addresses, but not Geneva's because she was still dead. Her mail followed us to the house. And it got to the point where she received more mail than we did. And she started, apparently they thought she was aging. She started receiving mail for mobility scooters and all kinds of things for people who are getting older, things from cemeteries wanting her to buy a headstone. It's like, this is just bizarre. So I named the ghost in the series Geneva Bowman. And when the first one was published, the mail stopped. I figured, okay, Geneva was happy. She's made it now.
That's amazing.
And the ghost in the Haunted Shell Shop series, that came about because we had an awful sink, a bathroom sink that was faux marble, was beige, an ugly beige with streaks of white running through it to make it look like marble that, nothing ever looks like, no marble has ever looked like that. And we'd been living in the house for 10 or 15 years when I was one morning brushing my teeth, and I looked at those white streaks, and it was like looking at the clouds and seeing, like a turtle or a rabbit. I looked, and all of a sudden, there was the face of a pirate looking back at me with his hat and his mustache and his dark, hollow eyes, because it was actually a ghost. And oh, God, our sink is haunted. And when my agent asked, well, have you got another idea for a series? I came up with this wild idea of a ghost of a pirate haunting a seashell. And I love that. And she was able to sell it to Kensington. So that's where he came from my sink. Yeah.
And for those watching, that is Come Shell or High Water.
Yes, that's the first one. Yeah. And this is the one that just came out last week.
Yes, I have that one too. It's on my bookshelf. I should have pulled it. I didn't pull it. All right. So how do you ensure your ghostly elements of hauntings and apparitions and eerie settings and all of that enhance the mystery plot in your stories rather than overshadowing them?
I try to make them like regular characters, and I throw obstacles in their way, because if a ghost or a witch or whatever can do anything, then that sort of spoils the mystery, because they could solve it like that. So in the case of Emrys, the pirate ghost in the Haunted Shell Shop series, he's a ghost who he calls it a pattern, and it's like a film loop. You've heard of these ghosts, historical ghosts, where there'll be like a lady in gray or a lady in white who is seen walking down a staircase, say, and they get to the bottom and they go right back up to the top, and they just walk down the stairs over and over, or to the end of a hall over and over. They have no variation. So Emrys has a loop. He has a beautiful seashell, it's a giant helmet shell about the size of an inflated football that he carved beautifully for his wife. He was never able to give it to her. He died trying to rescue it from it falling overboard. And so now he's attached to that shell. He every once in a while just becomes enwrapped by it. And he says it becomes his sole focus. He doesn't hear anything or see anything around him. It's just the shell, and it becomes his beating heart and the breath that he no longer has. So when he's in one of these loops, he's useless as a witness to anything. He's a little bit full of himself, and he has foibles just like a person that keep him from doing anything. Geneva, the ghost in the Haunted Yarn Shop ones, she doesn't like leaving where she is. She started out in a cottage. She doesn't know how long she was there. She didn't ever leave it. And was not a successful ghost because no one knew she was there. Said she couldn't even haunt properly. But the guy who lived in the cottage kept his TV on 24/7. And so she, since the 50s, has been glued to a TV set and has just picked up her frame of references, things like I Love Lucy or Gunsmoke or Barney Miller, and she can't distinguish between documentaries and sitcoms. So that gives her some restrictions. She's bright, but she's not the most useful.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
What is your definition of magic?
That was a tough one. There's different kinds of magic. And so if it's magic like Harry Potter, where you can cast spells, or like Narnia, where animals talk in a land that you can reach to the back of a wardrobe, that kind of stuff I wish was real. Mm-hmm. But I think what magic is something that defies conventional explanation. That's a pretty cut and dried definition of it. So it's not stage magic, because stage magic uses a lot of misdirection and sleight of hand, and that can be, you can learn magic tricks. So magic is something wondrous. That's kind of a namby-pamby definition, but something like a double or triple rainbow. That's just it's a magical moment. And that's a different definition of magical. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. How amazing is that? Yeah. And of course, it can be explained, but still, it's just, this caterpillar that can be as big as your thumb spins a little chrysalis, and then it turns to mush and becomes this gorgeous butterfly. Or just watching a child's mind, as from baby up to toddler, and the things they learn and the things they make up, and it's amazing. But my favorite idea of magic is something that Carl Sagan said, the astronomer. He said, and it's about books. So, what an astonishing thing a book is. It's a flat object made from a tree with flexible parts that are imprinted with lots of funny dark squiggles, but one glance at it and you're inside the mind of another person. Maybe somebody dead for thousands of years. Across the millennia, an author is speaking clearly and silently inside your head, directly to you. And writing is perhaps the greatest of human inventions, binding people together who never knew each other, and citizens of distant epochs. And books break down the shackles of time. And a book, he says, is proof that humans are capable of working magic. So that's not casting spells and stuff, but I believe that. I mean, what a magical thing it is to be able to read and to just, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great quote. So if you could encounter a famous or historic ghost, who would it be and why?
Do you mean a person that was alive and is now a ghost?
Correct.
Or, okay.
Someone who's no longer alive, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And is this a ghost that people have actually already seen, so we know that people believe this ghost is, or it could be any person?
It could be any person that has once lived.
Oh.
If they came back as a ghost, like if they could come back as a ghost, who would you want to?
Oh, wow. Okay, that opens it up. Yeah. The problem is that so many ghosts don't talk. You'd want it to be someone who could talk.
We'll say in this case they do talk.
Yeah, I think so. I think they ought to, for heaven's sakes. Wow. P.G. Wodehouse, one of my favorite authors. That would be an awful lot of fun to talk to him. He only died in 1974, 75, though. So he ought to go further back. And it would be fun to talk to a great-grandfather. My great-grandfather. This is my great-grandfather was born in 1812.
Wow.
Can you imagine wouldn't that be something to talk to him? Or my grandfather. I never met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. But if you're talking about, supposedly the White House is haunted by Abraham Lincoln. Wouldn't that be cool to meet him? But they never say he doesn't talk, apparently.
Yeah.
There's a ghost supposedly on Ocracoke Island where the Haunted Shell Shop series takes place. Mm-hmm. He was a lighthouse keeper, Captain Joe Burris. He retired in 1946, and he and his family moved to a little cottage, and he died maybe 5 years later. And he was a kindly man when he was alive, and apparently his ghost is also kindly, and he walks the upstairs hallway, opening and closing cupboards and doors. It's like, well, it would be fun to talk to him. He never says anything, but it would be fun to talk to him, find out what it was like to be a lighthouse keeper back when, he probably started when, well, I don't know if there were sailing ships, but certainly hurricanes came, and it would just be very interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Get their perspective. I think it'd be fun to talk to a ghost from long ago and be able to show them the technologies and how things have changed today and see their reaction.
No king. Oh, so Robert Louis Stevenson would be cool. Yeah. I know who I wouldn't want to talk to is some of the ghosts who haunt places like state hospitals and mental hospitals. Now there's some ghosts that are listed who talk, and they're listed in something called the most terrifying places in America. So, no. I couldn't do that.
So what's your favorite way to get cozy with a book?
In a really comfortable chair, one that I can curl up in if I want to, or the corner of a sofa, and maybe with something nice. If it's cold outside, have something warm to drink, like tea or a really good cup of coffee, or maybe something cool if it's hot outside, and with a purring cat. That would be nice.
That's nice and relaxing and cozy.
Yeah. I like audiobooks these days, and I don't get cozy with them because I listen to them when I walk.
Right. If I got cozy with an audiobook, I probably would fall asleep.
Yes, I think that would be too dangerous. That's right. It would be fun to say I get cozy and read in bed, but I don't read long.
So what are you reading right now? Any book recommendations for our listeners, cozy or not?
I'm reading a series that Shirley Russo Murphy started writing in 1996. It's the Joe Gray Mysteries, and I'm up to 10 now. And this is talk about talking animals in Narnia. This is a series. Joe Gray is a cat, and he's got two friends, Dulcie and Kit. They're also cats. Each one of them lives with people, and their people know that they can talk and read and do a few things like make phone calls, which is very difficult for them because a cat's paw is not made for dialing or punching. They started when it was dial phones, and by now they're up to they have to squinch their paws up so they can punch the numbers on a cell phone. The books aren't told for the laughs at all. These cats are successful and serious amateur sleuths, and they help out the police, but the police don't know it because those police don't know these cats can talk, and they have to keep that secret because can you imagine if you came across a talking cat, people might want to take advantage of that cat. So they're humans guard that secret, but they're nice twisty mysteries. It's a little bit of mostly cozy, a little bit of police procedural because you follow the police too, as do the cats. Mm-hmm. And but there's a lot of situational humor because the cats really are cats and they do cat stuff. They're great. So I've also been reading the Alfred Hitchcock Mystery Magazine because it's full of short stories and I love short stories. I'm behind on my issues. This is not the most recent one.
That's really great. I didn't know that they had that magazine. I haven't looked at a magazine in like some time. Oh,
Alfred Hitchcock and Ellery Queen are the two oldest running mystery magazines in the world. They're something like 55 years old by now. It's pretty cool.
I'll check that out for sure. Are there any new projects that you would like to share or promote?
Well, There'll Be Shell to Pay just came out last week, so that's I guess my project is helping to promote that. Do you want to hear about what the brief idea of what that book is about? Or
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's give listeners a preview.
Okay. The main character, Maureen Nash, is traveling back to the island of Ocracoke off the coast of North Carolina, which is a real place and a wonderful place. She just spent several weeks back in her hometown of Tennessee, straightening out, settling affairs so that she can move to Ocracoke and see if she wants to run this shell shop that she inherited out of the blue. And she expects, when she gets there, a warm welcome from Emrys the ghost, because he had sent her a letter saying he had discovered treasure in the shop's attic and they're going to go investigate that. But he isn't there when she gets back. She thinks maybe he's looping on his show. Instead of Emrys, she finds an envelope addressed to the captain of the Hyde County Sheriff's Department, who's stationed on Ocracoke. His name is Rob Tate. And when Tate comes to get that envelope, he opens it and inside finds a note with just one sentence and a signature. And it reads, "The dead woman is Len Rose." And the signature is Maureen Nash. And the signature and the handwriting are Maureen's. And there's no way she did that because she just arrived from Tennessee. So that's the setup, and goes from there.
Wow, that sounds right. I'll have to dive into that one. It's on my shelf. I haven't gotten to it yet, but
and I'm just finishing up putting the polishing touches on the third book, which is All
great.
Shell Breaks Loose, and it comes out next June.
I love the pun. Oh, great!
I do love the pun. I love doing titles.
Do you come up with titles easily? I mean, obviously there's a theme for this one, but do they come pretty easy to you, or does it take some time to get them?
In fact, often I like to have the title before I write the book or write a short story, which is, I don't know why, that's just the way it goes.
Great. And how can our listeners find you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Blue Sky, Pinterest, and I have a website. And as long as you spell my name right, you can pretty much find me. Its last name is MacRae. Lots of ways of spelling MacRae, but it's possible you'd be able to find me even if you didn't spell it right. I don't know.
And I'll list all of the ways you can find you in the show notes. Well, thank you again, Molly, for taking some time to speak with me this afternoon.
Thank you,
and hope you're welcome.
All right.
And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. I will. Hope you do too.